Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. Salutations to all. So, in this fifth canto, we are seeing, because the sthanam portion is there. Sthanam is where the whole universe is situated. What is the substratum of the whole universe? So the description of various varshas has been given, and then we saw the glory of Bharat Varsha, then the movement of the sun. Now, 21st chapter is what we had done last time. 22nd one we go into now. When Shukdev ji said that the sun travels in a clockwise direction, but also appears to travel in the anti-clockwise direction through the zodiac, through the 12 signs of the zodiac, then Parikshit ji asked that question that you have affirmed that the sun travels around both the Dhruvaloka and Mount Sumeru, keeping them on its right. At the same time, the sun facing the signs of the zodiac keeps the Sumeru and Dhruvaloka on its left. How can we accept that? So Shukdev ji replies saying that just as the motion of ants on a potter's wheel, so potter's wheel may be moving like this, ant is moving like this, is different from that of the wheel. So the planets and the sun move separately from the zodiac and thus shift through different constellation and the zodiac signs in the opposite direction. Which means what? From our standpoint, the sun moves from the east to the west. But in relation to the zodiac, the 12, the whole sky is divided into 12 parts. The sun appears to move from Aries to Taurus and to other signs in the opposite direction. So Aries to Taurus. Aries is the first one, then it goes like that. Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus. Again, that circle, full circle. So he says here that other signs of opposite. Thus the sun and the moon and the other luminaries move in a clockwise direction on a daily basis. But with respect to the time wheel, Kala Chakra is the 12 signs of the zodiac. They move in a counterclockwise direction and seem to be entering different zodiac signs at different times. Now, any more details you have about this, you ask anybody who is expert in astronomy or even astrology. I am not an expert in this. I am just saying what the scripture is saying. This part of Bhagavatam, accept the bhav that this whole thing is Bhagwan and that one should worship the Lord in that Virat roop. Minor details, no questions I can answer because I have not studied astrology or astronomy. My specialization is on Vedanta. What I am interested in is to worship Bhagwan. So here it says that Bhagwan himself has become Surya. So for us, Surya is not just the star, a ball of hydrogen and helium, etc. For us, it is Surya Narayana that we saw in the last chapter also, that how Surya Narayana is having his chariot and Arun Devta is there and the charioteer and 7 horses are there, and then there are various Valakilyas and Yakshas and Gandharvas and all of them doing the stuti of Surya Bhagwan as he moves around. So for us it is Bhagwan and the Surya Narayana it is. So 12 Adityas are sun in one constellation, spends 1 month, So each month has a presiding deity, who are the 12 Adityas. And so Bhagwan Narayana, the original cause of this whole universe, based on the prayer of the sages, divided himself into 12 parts and created the 6 seasons. 6 seasons. So summer and winter and autumn and rain and spring and those 6. So why did he create this? So it is said for the jiva to exhaust their karma phala. Various things, heat, cold, pleasure, pain, that the jiva goes through based on these seasons. So some places there are all the 6 seasons, some places there are few seasons based on the location of the jiva. And so it is Bhagwan who has made himself. So we worship Bhagwan as Surya Narayana. Narayana himself is this Surya. And Bhagwan does this for what purpose? Because each jiva has to go through different karma phalas in different bodies at different time periods. So Bhagwan only makes that happen. It is why is a particular jiva born in a particular place to certain people in certain environments, lives for a certain span of time, is all Bhagwan working out their karma phala. And so that's why he says here that following the varnashrama dharma, the worshipping the Lord as the sun with faith, by yoga and by regulated activities, people can easily attain the highest goal of realizing oneness with Bhagwan. Even this whole time division, etc., which Rashi the moon is in, what sign the sun is in, where all the other planets are at a particular point in time. It is used for what? To predict that this person or this being will have these qualities. These are various possibilities in their life. The idea is not to say that everything is only fixed, you can't do anything. The idea is to say that these are all possibilities, but one can do purushartha, one can do sadhana, one can deal with them in a different way and finally realize oneness with Bhagavan, exhaust the karma phalas. As a part of this sadhana process is the right time to do rituals so that it will reach the deities, whether it is devatas or pitrus, etc. So Uttarayana, Dakshinayana and the Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, all that division is there of time. It is not to be just dismissed saying, okay, it doesn't matter. That today we do lot of that so-called scientific attitude. Then we say, no, all this is no use. Just do whatever you feel like. Only your sankalpa must be strong. Of course, sankalpa must be positive, strong, nothing wrong. But if special karmas require special understanding, and one should act according to the laws of the universe. Now 15th August tomorrow. Now if you go to any government office and you say, I don't care about time, I am going to go to the office because my work has to be done. You will not meet the people there because they are not there, holiday. Sunday you go. I will just barge in any time of the day. How? So devatas have their time. They have a specific time period when it is day for them, night for them. How it matches with our day and night, all that. Keeping in mind all that, certain rituals are done. So if it is said in certain times, don't do certain things, there will be some of the reasons will be based on this time. Kal Ganana it is. As long as I'm identified with the body, I am a jiva, time is real for me. As simple as that. If I am not identified with the body, then time doesn't make any difference to me because I am anyway beyond time, Brahman. all purpose of all sadhanas is already fulfilled. Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna, Brahman is beyond space, time, and object. If one has experienced that state of supreme realization, then okay, but doesn't that person doesn't get affected much, because whatever happens with prarabdha of the BMI, it will go on in this relative world. I have nothing to do with it. But if I am identified with the BMI, I have karta bhav, then time is important. Even Bhagwan says that in the Gita, in the context of Dan, he says deshe kale patrecha, at the right time, right place, to the right candidate or the deserving person or a cause, one must do the dan. One should not do anywhere, anyhow, anytime. No, no. That dan is called sattvic dan, given at the right time, in the right place, to the right person, with the right attitude. All that is sattvic dan. So the idea here is this, that Bhagwan has become the presiding deity of each month, Adityas. In each month, it will come now. So the sun, who is the soul of the entire world, passes through the 12 signs of zodiac and takes on 12 different names. So 1 month is 2 fortnights by lunar calculation. So our calendar is lunisolar calendar, which has combination of both the movement of the sun and the moon. And the tithis are calculated as per the movement of the moon, Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, and Prathama to Amavasya, and then to Purnima. So waxing and waning according to that. So he says here that the sun passes through the 12 signs of the zodiac and takes on 12 different names. 1 month is 2 fortnights by lunar calculation, or the time taken for the sun to cover 2.25 constellations. Constellations are the nakshatras, 28, including Abhijit nakshatra, that will come. So for the time for the sun to cover 2.25 constellations, and is a day and a night for the Pitrus. 2 months constitute a season. So 6 seasons, 12 months, and 6 months together is one ayana. So the time to move over half the zodiac belt is called one ayana. So Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, the northern solstice and the southern solstice. Now, the time taken by the sun to pass through the antariksha and the heavenly plane, slow, quick and medium speeds, it is called Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Iravatsa, Anuvatsara and Vatsara. This had come in the 3rd canto also, if you remember. I'm going to read that once again, that portion. So how the time is calculated is based on the movement of the sun. Even our, this seconds, minutes, that entire calculation is based on, how much time the sun takes to cover a particular distance. From there, time is measured. We had done that before, so I'm not going to go into the detail of that. The whole calculation, right from the smallest unit of time, 1/34,000th of a second, krati, from there up to kalpa, the whole thing was given. Muhurta and ghati, all that which was given. So there it was said, see this third canto, this 3rd canto, the measurement of time when it is given, the measurement of time which in the form of sun fits across the smallest particle of matter, is called a paramanu, while that which extends over the whole lifespan of the universe is the longest measure of time, which is Brahmaji's lifespan, which is 100 years. That entire time calculation had been given in the third canto. So two Paramanus make one Anu, while three Anus make one Trasrenu. And then seen floating in space through the sun rays that enter a room through the eye hole of a lattice. The measurement of time in the form of sun travels across a composite of three Trasrenus is known as a Truti. So that how much time the sun takes to cover three atoms, see that, three Anus, is called Truti. What calculation this is? Such minute level. And there, in that he goes on to explain then 100 Trutis is one Veda, 3 Veda is one Lava, and 3 Lava is Nimesha, the twinkling of an eye. Then 3 Nimesha is 1 Kshana. Then 5 Kshanas is Kashtha. Then 15 Kashthas is Laghu. 15 Laghus is Nadika. Then 2 Nadikas is 1 Muhurta. Or while 6 or 7 Nadikas make up Prahara, which is 3 hours. Then a pot of copper weighing 6 palas or 96 masas or 8 tolas and with a capacity of 1 prashtha of water should be bored with a golden needle weighing 4 masas and 4 angulas long and left on water. The time which will be taken by such a pot to be filled with, consequently submerged in water, is known as Nadika. Like that, the whole description is given of the unit of time right from Truti to Manvantara, and then Brahmaji's life. In this, some words which were used are Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Idavatsara, Anuvatsara, and Vatsara. So Samvatsara is the solar year. Is the name of the solar year or the period taken by the sun to pass through all 12 signs of the zodiac. It is 372 days. The modern calculation as per this thing is what, 365 point something, and then we add after every few years some 4 days, 1 day extra, because 365 point something extra it is. So after every 4 years 1 day is added. So Parivatsara is the name of the period taken by the Jupiter to pass from one sign of the zodiac to another. The Jupiter takes approximately 12 years to complete its circuit through all the 12 signs. Idavatsara is the name of the Savanas year, each month of which has a uniform duration of 30 days. Anuvatsara is the name of the lunar year, each month of which ends on the Amavasya. Vatsara is the name of the year, each month of which consists 27 days only, the period taken by the moon to pass through the 27 constellations, nakshatras. Lunar mansions, not nakshatra. Not constellation, sorry. Nakshatra is lunar mansions. So the point is, all this division of time which has been given here, he says that the time taken by the sun to pass through the Antariksha is variously called as this Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Idavatsara, Anuvatsara, Vatsara, and then the movement of the moon. So one is the movement of the sun. So Surya also is Narayana for us, and Bhagwan only has become Kala and guides us through his journey in the sky. Then the moon. The moon is 0.1 million yojanas above the rays of the sunshine, travels at a speed faster than that of the sun with respect to the zodiac. It covers the sun's year in 2 fortnights. What the sun will take 1 whole year to cover all the zodiacs, it will cover in 2 fortnights. Its month in 2.5 days, and its fortnight in 1 day, meaning sun's month. What sun will take a month to cover, the moon will finish in 2.5 days, and what sun will take fortnight, the moon will cover in 1 day. So the moon creates the day for the demigods during its waxing period and creates the day for the Pitrus during its waning period. The moon that supports the life of all beings passes through one constellation in 30 muhurtas, 1 day. And so 28 constellations it will cover in 28 days. Lunar mansions. Now the point here is, that's why this, when it is said no, that moon creates the day for the demigods during its waxing period and for the Pitrus during the waning period. So during the waxing period is the day for the Devatas and waning period is the night for the Devatas. And the opposite for the Pitrus. Waning period is the day for the Pitrus and waxing period is the night for the Pitrus. And so the worship that is offered has to be offered when the Devatas are having their daytime. That's why all this time calculation and understanding of time rituals, because we are propitiating some Devatas. If somebody is sleeping and then you wake them up in the middle of the night to get your work done, they will get irritated or not. Same way it is. So the certain calculations are done and they will say you can do this at this time, you can't do this at this time, all that. Now who, just like Surya is Bhagwan Narayana, same way Chandrama also has an important role to play. And so what does Chandrama represent? It represents the influence of the Supreme Lord. How? So it is called by various names. So it is called Manomaya because it is that which influences everyone's mind. So the word used is this. Ya esha shodasha kalaha purushaha Bhagavan Manomayaha Annamayaha Amritamayaha Deva Pitra Manushya Bhuta Pashu Pakshi Sari Sripa Virudham Pranapyayana Shilatvat Sarvamaya iti Varnayanti. So this moon is called Manomaya because it is the presiding deity of the mind. Manaso Devata Chandramaha, it is said. Then Annamayaha, the food is nourished through the moon rays. Even the seeds are exposed to the moon before they are sown. And so when Bhagwan says Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha in the 15th chapter, becoming the moon, I bring about the juices in all the vegetables and fruits and all of those. So he is Oshadhi also. So Amritamayaha is the next one. The source of life for all the living entities. Aushadhis. In the moonlight, they get lot of nourishment from the moon. Aushadhis. And Sarvamayaha, being nourisher of all the food. Moon is nurturing all the creatures. Like how sun nourishes in certain ways, moon also nourishes in its own way. And so Bhagwan only has become sun and the moon, and the whole Srishti is functioning. If either of them are not there, big challenge. If either of them are little closer or little further away, a lot of problems will happen on the earth. So his exact distance. And so here, sun and the moon have been described. Then the 28 constellations headed by Abhijit lie 0.3 million yojanas above the moon. Inspired by the Lord, they move clockwise around the Sumeru on the time wheel. Then Venus lies 0.2 million yojanas above the constellations, the nakshatras. It moves like the sun, sometimes behind and sometimes in front of the sun. It is considered favorable for all by causing rain and nullifies the influence of planets that are obstacles to rainfall. Mercury lies 0.2 million yojanas above Venus. Now, if you go by our solar system, you will find Mercury first and then Venus and then Mars and then like that it will go. Here it is said Venus is above the constellations, above this Venus is the Mercury. So, moves in a similar fashion. Generally, it is auspicious, but when it does not move along with the sun, it produces a fearful situation with droughts, cyclones, and continual clouds. Mars, Angaraka. So, Mercury is Buddha. Mercury is supposed to be the son of the moon. Mars is Angaraka, lies 0.2 million yojanas above Mercury. If not traveling retrograde, it passes through one of the 12 zodiac signs every 3 fortnights. Generally, it is inauspicious and indicates grief. Jupiter, Guru, situated above Brihaspati, Guru, Brihaspati, whatever you say. Situated above Mars by 0.2 million yojanas, Jupiter moves through each sign in one parivatsara, if not traveling retrograde. It is generally very favorable to the Brahmanas. Saturn, very troublesome. Above Jupiter by 0.2 million yojanas is Saturn, Shani, which travels slowly through one zodiac in 30 months. In this way, it travels through all the 12 signs in 30 anuvatsaras. It is generally very troublesome for all people. Then the Saptarishi circumambulate the Dhruva Loka. So situated above Saturn, 1.11 million yojanas are the Saptarishi Mandal, who are always thinking of the well-being of the inhabitants of the universe. They circumambulate the Dhruva Loka, the pole star, situated 1.3 million yojanas above Saptarishis, the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. Now, this is the planetary position that has been given with respect to the moon, the sun, the earth, all that, and how these will influence the human being. Some are favorable, some are not favorable, some will affect the cosmic Adi Daivik instances like rain, drought, cyclone, all that. So the point is, matter will influence matter. There is no doubt in that. Some changes one may see as per what is given in the scriptures, what is seen today. There may be some differences, but the basic principle is matter will influence matter, and as long as I'm identified with the matter, then I should know what are the influences and then see how to work it out, so that the main objective is I should be able to do my sadhana, offer those actions to Bhagwan, and seek the blessings of the Lord, realize our oneness with the Lord. That's the ultimate objective. But in and through this process, one may seek some wealth, power, position, health, progeny, prosperity, all that, for which one may even invoke the devatas, seek the blessings of the ancestors, etc. Then one has to be able to do appropriate karmas for it, rites and rituals for it, please them, get their blessings, and achieve what one wants to achieve. Now, this is all physical description. Please remember, the whole thing is Bhagwan who is appearing in all this and supporting all this. Now we go to 23rd chapter. In that 23rd chapter, it is said, above Saptarishi Mandal is Dhruva Loka. So what we said just now, 1.3 million yojanas above the planet of the 7 sages is the abode of Lord Vishnu, where Dhruva remains until the end of the Kalpa. Circumambulating him are Agni, Indra, Prajapati, Kashyapa and Dharma, with all great reverence and respect. He is a great devotee of Bhagwan. So as per Bhagavatam, these are all physical places. These are not only loka in the terms of uh, a realm of experience, like how we say dream is a realm of experience. It's not a physical location. As per the Bhagavatam here, these are all physical locations. The distance has been given, and each of these have, just like all this, this Saturn and Jupiter and Mars, they also physical locations have been given, and they are proper heavenly bodies. Same way here, Dhruva Nakshatra also, Dhruva Loka also. Then this Dhruva Nakshatra, established by the Lord, is the central pivot of all stars and planets. So the unsleeping, invisible, most powerful time factor causes these luminaries to revolve around the pole star without cessation. So many of these heavenly bodies, they are moving around this Dhruva Loka. How do the planets and stars rotate around the pole star? So one very nice thing is said, just like the bulls are tied, to extract oil from the seeds. The bull is tied. The bulls are yoked together and tied to a central post to thrash rice or any of the seeds, and the oil is extracted. Tread around that pivot without deviating from their proper positions. It will go round and round and round. And that type of a punishment was also given to some of our freedom fighters in Andamans and even in other places, where they were literally made to slog, and they have to go round and round, and they are whipped, and the chains are tied on their feet, and mercilessly they were treated. That is of course in the context of the freedom struggle and how much sacrifice people have gone through, that we are enjoying freedom today, but how much suffering they went through for us. In this context, it is not that somebody is whipping the planets and all that, but the analogy is given that how the bull, once it is tied, it won't deviate. It will go round and round and round. It will keep going because it's tied in the center. Even if it wants to go somewhere, it can't. Same way here it is said that the various heavenly bodies, they are also doing this as a parikrama, pradakshina of this Dhruva Loka. What is that to which they are tied? They, till the end of the kalpa, they will go round, round, round like this. So how do they remain in this orbit? Dhruva Loka is that pivot around which all are going. What is keeping them in their orbit? So it is said here, just as clouds or eagles, controlled by the wind and pushed by karma, move about in the sky, so planets supported by matter and the Lord, and moving by their past karmas, do not fall to the ground. Even those inanimate things have karmas. Meaning what? It's not that they have some karta bhav and they're creating their karmas, etc. In the march of evolution, from the inanimate we come into the animate. So as per a certain times period which is given, like it is said till the end of the kalpa, so Bhagwan appears through matter as all these different heavenly bodies and beings. Heavenly bodies and of course beings also. So on the earth, for example, the earth by itself that way is the Jada Vastu. Then we say Prithvi Mata is there. There's a deity, Bhumi Devi. So how does Jiva, so from an inanimate, how does one enter into the animate? So from the soil, it becomes food. Food is eaten by the individuals. There it becomes the seed in the male and the female. Then the conception happens. Then the Jiva comes. And that Jiva comes through the rain down, gets into the soil, enters into this So from the inanimate, it is coming into the animate one. Now, what is inanimate and what is animate? That also is a big question if we go very deep into it. We may think one jiva is coming. It is not like that. The soil has so many small jivas. All that is being taken up by the plants, and then the plant becomes the whatever, the vegetable, the fruit and the leaves and all that. Now that one is eating. Each of them have so many jivas. So if we think of it, it's very mind-boggling. How from the inanimate it comes inside and becomes the animate, and then the whole srishti happens. So each one has their own karma. Inanimate things also for a certain time will be there. Then they will get destroyed. So that time span, for how much time span a particular star or a planet or whatever the heavenly body is going to be there. Who decides? Bhagwan decides by his will. And they have their destiny written. This much time they will be there. And that's why I said here, the supported by matter and the Lord and their past karma also. Some of them are physical manifestations also of the devatas. Now those devatas also have their past karmas. So now that way there are a lot of intricacies here. The idea here is to not forget that we are worshipping Bhagwan in and through all this. Now comes a unique description that some describe the zodiac belt, the great machine consisting of the stars and planets, to have the form of a dolphin, Shishumara, used for worshipping Vasudeva in meditation. The point is, this whole Virat rupa, this Bhagwan has become this entire universe. Now to visualize that in the mind, so this is called Virat Upasana. Now how we will visualize that? It is infinite, no? Some form is required in the mind. So there is one analogy that is given. Now don't try to think that, oh, universe is in the form of a dolphin. But there is no beginning and end of the space, and dolphin has a specific form. How will universe fit inside the dolphin? See, this is Upasana, no? It's Virat Upasana. So it is said here, some describe this, it has a form of a dolphin. The whole zodiac belt, etc. And so this zodiac belt is worshipped in the form of a dolphin. And what is the purpose? To worship Vasudeva in meditation. There's an upasana here. So this is in this 23rd chapter, the 4th paragraph. So where he says this. Some people declared the stellar sphere as capable of being meditated upon through deep concentration of mind as a form of Vasudeva in the shape of a dolphin. Then what are the various aspects of that dolphin's body? That is explained then. What we just saw, this from Dhruva Mandal onwards, all the planets are going around the Dhruva Mandal, and then the Saptarishi Mandal and all that. If you remember it, in the beginning also this had come, and how Ganga flows from the Dhruva Mandal into Saptarishi Mandal, then comes on the earth. All that was said, the descent of Ganga. That this particular Mandal, and for us this is only the universe. We are not able to understand many other things outside this. So this Mandal is described now as the body of the dolphin. So this form of Shishumara has its head downwards and the body is coiled. End of the tail is planet of Dhruva. Body of the tail is planets of Prajapati, Agni, Indra and Dharma. Base of the tail is Dhata and Vidhata. Hips are Saptarishis. Right side of the coiled body, 14 constellations from Abhijit to Punarvasu. Left side of the coiled body, 14 stars from Pushya to Uttarashad. Back is a group of stars known as Ajavithi. Abdomen, the Ganga that flows in the sky. 28 constellations are located on the either side of the body of the dolphin. So all that is given here, the description. The left and the right loins, the right and the left loins are Punarvasu and Pushya. Right and the left feet are Ardra, all these are nakshatras, and Ashlesha. Right and the left nostril are Abhijit and Uttarashadha. Right and the left eye, Shravana and Purvashadha. Then right and the left ears, Dhanishtha and Mula. Then ribs on the left side, 8 stars from Magha to Anuradha. Then ribs on its left side, on its right side, 8 stars from Mrigashirsha to Purva Bhadra. Right and left shoulders, Shatabhisha and Jyeshtha. Upper chin, Agasti. Lower chin, Yamaraj. Mouth, Mars. Genitals, Saturn. Back of its neck, Jupiter. Chest is Surya. Core of the heart, Narayana. Mind is the moon. Navel is the Venus. Breasts, Ashwini Kumaras. Life air, Prana and Apana, Mercury. Neck is Rahu. All over its body, comets. Pores are the numerous stars. Now this is the rupa of Bhagwan, Vasudeva. This is a Virat roop. And fixing one's gaze on this very form of Bhagwan Vishnu, representing all gods, in the evening, from day to day, one should wait with a concentrated mind and do the following prayer. And what is that prayer? See this. ग्रहर्क्षतारामयमाधिदैविकं पापापहं मन्त्रकृतां त्रिकालं नमस्यत स्मरतो वा त्रिकालं नश्येत तत्कालजमाशु पापम्. This is the mantra, which is the 9th, after the 8th para, the 9th shloka. The chapter ends with that. And what does it say? No, sorry, I read the 9th shloka. The 8th one is actually the mantra. Etadu haiva bhagavato vishnoha sarvadevatamaya rupam ahaha sandhyayam prayato vagyato nirikshamana upatistheta. This is the actual, just a mantra. Namo jyotir lokaya kalaya naya nimisham pataye mahapurushayabhi dhimahi iti. This is the actual mantra which is to be repeated. This is the prayer. The next one, what I chanted the shloka, that is not the actual mantra which one has to repeat. The mantra is this: Namo jyotir lokaya kalaya naya nimisham pataye mahapurushaya abhidhimahi. Abhidhimahi means I meditate. So, hail to the Supreme Person manifesting himself as the wheel of time, the backbone of the luminaries, the ruler of all gods. Thus we do meditate on him. This is the actual prayer. Then the shloka that I said was describing the form through the constellations, etc. So the form of Lord Vishnu, consisting of the planets, the lunar mansions, and the other stars, wipes out the sin. This is a falashruti. This mantra japa will lead to this. Wipes out the sins of those who repeat the foregoing prayers thrice in the morning, evening, and at noon. That mantra we have to chant 3 times in the morning, afternoon, and noon. 3 times each, so 9 times minimum, every day. The sin committed in the immediate past by him who bows to or even thinks of this form 3 times a day disappears at once. So with the form, one has to chant this, that this whole Virat Roop, right from Dhruva Mandal onwards, all this is in the Virat Roop of Bhagwan, who is in the form of this coiled coiled dolphin, and I pray to that Bhagwan who is in this form. So now this is the description that has been given of this Bhumandala, one part. Now the heavenly planets and the hellish planets, they will be explained now. So planets above, planets below the sun and above the earth. And then planets below the earth. These two will be described. That is the next chapter, that is 24th chapter. And so, um, so 10,000 yojanas below the sun is the planet Rahu, which moves like one of the stars. The presiding deity of that planet Rahu, the son of Simhika, although the most abominable of all asuras, has achieved that position by the Lord's grace. Rahu got that position because he drank that nectar. But Bhagwan, because of Surya Devata, he was exposed. And immediately Bhagwan cut off the head. But because the nectar has passed this much, his head became immortal. And then the belief is that Rahu goes and eats the sun, and that's the solar eclipse. But because he doesn't have the body, the sun escapes. So the sun globe, the moon, and the Rahu planet extend to 10,000 yojanas, 20,000 yojanas, and 30,000 yojanas, respectively. Rahu being inimical towards the sun and the moon, both sun and the moon identified. That's why. Attacks them on the full and the dark moon days. Eclipse. Hearing of the attack of Rahu, the Supreme Lord engages his Sudarshana Chakra to protect the sun and the moon. The intense heat of its effulgence when it is rotating for 48 minutes, one muhurta, is unbearable to Rahu, and he therefore flees in fear of it. People say that this is an eclipse. This is a Puranic way to describe the eclipse. It's not that our rishis did not know the scientific reason of why the eclipse happens, or that enough scriptures are there which describes when the sun, moon, earth are in a certain alignment and how this eclipse happens. All that is explained. This is a Puranic way of explaining. Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Vidyadhara Loka are situated 10,000 yojanas below Rahu. Then beneath the Vidyadhara Loka, Charana Loka, and Siddha Loka is the sky called Antariksha. There are places of enjoyment for the yakshas, rakshasas, pishachas, ghosts, and so on. It extends in the downward direction as far as the wind blows and the clouds float in the sky. Who are these Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas? So the Siddhas are perfected beings. They have great siddhis, powers. Some of them may be realized beings also. Yakshas, Vidyadharas, again divine beings. Some of them are experts in music and dance and arts, etc. Charana, I have to find out who they are. I'm not clear about that as of now. Bhumandala is 100,000 yojanas below the abodes of yakshas and rakshasas. Its upper limit extends as high as the swans, hawks, eagles, and similar large birds can fly. So this is below the surface of Bhumandalas are the 7 patalas. So 7 lower plane seven lower planets situated within the hollow cavities of the earth known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala and Patal. Each has a width, length and height of 10,000 yojanas. So what we generally say, seven lokas above earth, seven lokas below earth. So below earth means digging through the earth, in the earth, is what Bhagavatam is saying. Then one may say, but if you dig the earth, where is the place? Center of the earth is very hot, iron is there. So geographically we think of all that. But again, these are not necessarily only geographically possible. There is a combination of subtle and gross which can happen. Which is why to physical eye, if we see certain things are not visible. But to the mystical eye, it is visible. Like we were doing Sankatamochan Hanuman Ashtakam. Now in that, the seventh shloka, it comes that Bhagwan frees Hanumanji frees Bhagwan Ram and Lakshman from the pasha, from the bondage of this Ahiravan. Now Ahiravan, on the instructions of Ravan, Ahiravan is a Rakshasa. He captures Bhagwan Ram and Lakshman and takes them to Patal. So when he takes them to Patal, there's a portal that he creates on the earth. Through that portal he enters. You know, it is like that nowadays, what more easier to understand if you to relate it, just to relate it. Like how that Hogwarts station is there, no? And the train comes there, and then this Harry Potter and all his friends, they go to that, there's a portal there, and then through that they sit in that train, and then they go, and now they are, you know, the whole place where they study and they play and all that is there. Like that, a portal is created on the earth, and then Ahiravan takes them into Patal Lok. And Patal Lok is very huge. Hanumanji goes through that portal, and then he realizes, my God, this is such a huge loka. Where do I find Bhagwan Ram in this? But he remembers that in Lanka I found Sitaji, so here I will find Bhagwan Ram. And whatever that katha is, I'm not going into that. And he frees Bhagwan, and then again Chandrasena helps them to find the right portal to exit from that. Otherwise, one will not come out. So these are some challenge, some things which are mystical, which also will have some physical dimensions to it. So it need not be always only physical level, not always only subtle. It can be a mixture also. So here that's why he says that below the earth, the surface of Bhumandala are the seven. Actually, it is not only earth, it is Bhumandala. No? So this seven worlds are there. Each has a width and length and height of 10,000 yojanas. In the subterranean heavens known as Bilaswarga, there are beautiful houses, gardens, places of sense enjoyment, more opulent than those in the higher planets. Most of the residents of Bilaswarga, known as Daityas, Danavas, Nagas, live as householders. Their wives, children, friends, and society are fully engaged in illusory material happiness, Maya Vinoda, and desires more unimpeded than in heaven. One may think, Acha, then might as well go to Patal Lok, do all kinds of sins and reach there. See what comes. Maya Danav, an expert artist and architect, has constructed many brilliant cities there with wonderful houses, walls, gates, assembly houses, temples, yards, and resting places. The houses for the leaders are constructed with the most valuable jewels, and they are always crowded with Nagas and Asuras, as well as many pigeons, parrots, and similar birds. Further description is given of this Swarga. Full Bhagavatam is giving this full-on description of the 7 subterranean worlds below this Bhumandala. So if anybody likes this place and you want to buy a property there, you want to settle down there after this dropping of the physical body, you can plan accordingly. So here he gives further description. The parks and gardens surpass the beauty of those in heavenly planets. The trees, embraced by creepers, bent with the burden of twigs and with fruits and flowers, attract anyone and make his mind fully blossom in the pleasures of sense gratification. The lakes and reservoirs with clear water are agitated by jumping fish and are decorated with many flowers such as lilies, kuvalayas, uh, kahlaras, and the blue and red lotuses. Pairs of pairs of chakravakas and the other birds, water birds, nest in the lakes and always enjoy making sweet, pleasing vibrations that give sensual pleasure. Attractive, no? It is very attractive. No sunshine or no fear of time, because sun is above, moon is above. So since there is no sunshine there, time is not divided into days and nights, and consequently fear produced by time does not exist. The gems on the head of great serpents drive away all the darkness. Well, how do they see then? Because of the gems. Great health. By taking elixirs and juices made from divine herbs, the residents do not experience anxiety, disease, grey hair, wrinkles, discoloration of the body, foul perspiration, or fatigue due to old age. Acha, even Patal, there is no old age, disease, death. Even in Swarga, there is no old age, disease, death. What is the difference then? Living comfortably, they do not fear death from anything but the Lord's effulgence called the Sudarshan Chakra. The pregnant wives of the demons all have miscarriages due to the fear of its effulgence. They can't bear the stage of Sudarshan Chakra. Now each planet ka description is given. That I am not going in right now. That we will do next class. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, what all is there in that. It's all important to know so that we can take the right decisions, of how to act, where to go. People plan, no, I will go to Baku, I will go to Switzerland, I will go to Australia. That is on this earth, in this human body. But after that, where will you go? You have to plan. So all the descriptions are given here. Now you can decide. Swarga is like this, Dhruvaloka is like this, Saptarishi Mandal is like this, and this 7 levels of this hell, they are like this. Now what karma to do so that I will go these places? One can decide. So more about Patal we will see in our next class. Not Patal, meaning all the 7, Atal, Vital, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatal, Mahatal, Patal, all. So the tour of subterranean regions we will take up next class. For today I will stop here. Any questions?
Swamiji?
Haji.
Hariom. So, Swamiji, you said that restricted hours we should not do our prayers or our sadhana. So, for us, like when we do our sadhanas, what should be the afternoons? Can we do it or we can't do it in the afternoons?
No, it was said, no, 3 times in the day. That mantra which we spoke about, it said 3 times morning, 3 times afternoon, 3 times in the night. See, the prayer of Bhagwan, Supreme Lord, one can do. Specific things which we do for Devatas, for Pitrus, especially if they sakam karma. If I want particular fulfillment of a particular desire, then I have to ask, consult astrologers and all of them, and then find out what are the right time periods and then do. But worship of Bhagwan we can do, no problem.
So, Hariam Swamiji, in relation to that, like how we take out the murat for doing the weddings or buying a house or maybe, getting into the house like that. So, this depends on all these things, right?
Correct. Because it's all sakama karma, so there it will depend on
So time is important, no? Like people are saying, why to see the time when you want to do the wedding, or why to see the you can just buy a house and go in the house and stay. So then everything affects, no, that time.
Correct, because they don't understand, they have not studied, and they think that they are very scientific and open-minded. Arey, your connection with the entire universe, you don't know only. Then how? Time has its own impact. Time has its own importance. We should understand. It's not that we blindly follow something and we do. The idea is to understand properly the big scheme of things and then take decisions accordingly. For many things people do, they plan according to the time. They plan so many things.
Yeah, like they are working, then they'll see their holidays, they when to
Exactly.
travel and what to do.
Exactly. So that
Like
time they
that.
all see time, but they are not seeing the time in the cosmic
Uh,
alignment of what will affect whom and all that. And if you are invoking the devatas, you are chanting some mantras, you should do in the right muhurta, the maximum benefit one will attain. What is wrong if one follows that? And if certain things can't be done in a certain point in time, you and I don't know many cosmic things, many forces. Our Shastra, we go by that. And so it is a question of figuring out how to align myself in such a way that I am doing things which is in harmony with the cosmic forces. For that, and maximum what will happen, some inconvenience I may face, which is in a way mastery of the mind only, now where we say that okay, I don't want to do just because I want to do at this point in time, but keeping in mind the cosmic forces, I will do at such and such time. So that's a part of sadhana, part of mind control only. That and all people, many of them don't understand. They have a certain agenda to fulfill. नहीं ऐसा करना ही है, बोले करना ही है.
So like for that I would say in US now people doesn't see the time. Even in Shraddh they are doing wedding and they are moving to the new houses, and other people says, "Arey, what's wrong happened to them? Nothing. They are enjoying the life." So we don't come to like can't explain all these things, but you can feel it and have a faith in the our scriptures and do it. I feel.
Correct. So that logic we have to explain, and it's not that it is inauspicious and something bad will happen. That is wrong thinking, because people have created fear psychology out of this. They,
Uh,
and then that's why what you are saying that happens. Acha, they moved to a new house, and so nothing wrong happened. So now I will also move. Are, it's not a question of wrong has to happen to them.
hmm.
It is the
But
point
it's a
is that
respect you give it to the devatas maybe.
yeah, during those devatas, as well as you also do the offerings to the Pitrus during those times. You remember them, you live in a more spiritual way, in a dharmic way, and you try to spend more time doing the worship and the sadhanas, etc. Live in a certain austerity. That will benefit you, that will benefit them. 15 दिन, पूरे साल में 15 दिन केवल
I know.
फॉर
But
पितृ,
they say because
और
they
वहीं
don't
पे
get the
जाके उनको
holidays.
धमकना है. That time
ऑफिस
they
का
want
हॉलीडे
to buy
नहीं मिलता
every
है
time.
इसके लिए.
Very good. Now go by all the office holidays and this and that. There you want to propitiate the boss, na, your office ka boss. But
Ah,
boss of the whole universe and the devatas, there you don't want to propitiate. What stupidity it is.
yeah.
I am not encouraging fear psychology. I am only saying understanding through logic, understanding the wisdom of our scriptures, keeping in mind what is the cosmic vyavastha, and then when one is doing, it will have its own impact. And how does one measure that impact, you tell me? Something wrong has not happened only physically. How do you know that a negative karmic effect has not come to your
Yeah, it can come anytime.
agami
Yeah, it
karma?
can.
How do you know that? And how do you
You
know,
are building
how
upon
do you
your
know that
karma,
the
no? So,
positive karma has not come? वो कुछ पता ही नहीं ना. We are
right,
only seeing physical expression outside.
right.
Even physically, I am telling you, if we actually think about it, कितना रिसर्च लगा लगा के लोग करते हैं and they want to push a certain agenda, which you come to know finally कि ये तो पूरा गलत ही है. A simplest example of that, if we say, till today they have no clarity कि fruit कब खाना चाहिए भाई.
So health, that's what I was
I'm
going to
telling
say
you,
for
small
health
little
issues.
thing, even for small little thing, they will say fruit
Yeah.
empty stomach मत खाओ, sugar spike हो जाएगा, fruit खाने के साथ खाओ. अरे दूसरा कैंप बोलता है कि fruit empty stomach ही खाना चाहिए, खाने के साथ
Evening में नहीं
मत
खाना
करो.
चाहिए.
What confusion for simple gross things
Even
I'm telling you.
every doctors, if you see, for the same disease, they give different analogy or different diagnose of this. So definitely, it's maybe we cannot tell others, but we can understand and do for ourselves whatever we need to do.
Correct.
स्वामी
So
जी 10-10 साल में चेंज होता है, दूध पियो दूध नहीं पियो, दूध पियो,
exactly.
हर 10 साल में मैं देखती हूँ चेंज होता है.
I know.
Correct. पहले बोले
Ghee,
नारियल का तेल नहीं लेना चाहिए, बहुत खराब है, कोलेस्ट्रॉल बढ़ जाएगा. अब 2-2 चम्मच नारियल का तेल सुबह सुबह उठ के पी रहे हैं सब लोग.
even
ग्रॉस
empty
लेवल पे
stomach,
इतना
having a one
चेंज
and
हो
a
रहा
half
है.
liter water. People used to have it 10 years back, and now they say too much of water is also not good. Don't know what to do. Just maybe, whatever keeps your body thick, so you do it.
How do you know it keeps your body fit? That also. Abhi, I followed naturopathy for such a long time, eat only fruit till morning 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
How do I know it does not damage my body in some ways? After 10 years, suppose I come to know. I may think it is working for me right now, but पता चला long run में तो body में कोई problem आ गया उसकी वजह से. Now how?
exactly. Now for the protein powder, people keep on emptying big protein powder, so expensive. And then after 10 years, they'll say, oh, I have a kidney problem. What to do?
That's
So we
why
have to,
we trust the scripture, the traditional wisdom, time
yeah,
tested wisdom. एंड फॉलो. अब किसी को समझना है तो समझ के करो, नहीं करना है तो भुगतो. और क्या बोलेंगे उसमें.
exactly.
वी कांट कन्विंस पीपल बिकॉज दिस इज
नहीं,
अ
नहीं.
वेरी डीप साइंस. अब इसमें people don't have the this thing to question science in its depth, because you
हाँ,
start
but
questioning science
scriptural
in its
करते हैं तो
depth,
traditional.
you
हाँ,
will come to a lot of things which get exposed. Now they want to question scripture for everything and then find some loophole and say कि because of this I don't want to follow. Then don't question.
right.
करो ना अपने मन से जो करना है करो.
हाँ,
Questioning. If you
right.
want to understand and then appreciate it and then you want to follow, then you follow. You have a vested interest to find out कि नहीं इसमें कुछ नहीं रखा है, छोड़ दो ये सब पुरानी बातें हैं. Then don't bother.
That's, I think it's increasing the laziness and knowing things that
Exactly.
only people work for money and enjoyment. That's it. There's nothing beyond anything.
Yeah, that's where it is. Finally, it is money, enjoyment, and khao piyo maut karo. We're not bothered about anything higher. And then you see the increase in the depression, suicides, drugs, abuse,
Hospitals.
all that. फिर लोग बोलेंगे अब क्या करना चाहिए, मेंटल हेल्थ एजुकेशन डालो, मेंटल हेल्थ एजुकेशन डालो, पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग सोचो, पॉजिटिव इसमें इंस्पायरिंग गोल होना चाहिए. अरे स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज को पूरा का पूरा निकाल दिया.
Hmm.
And people are completely hooked on to absolute materialism and all kinds of things they are seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching without any vivek shakti at such a young age. And then what will happen? The society will get in this such a negative state only, no?
So many Balvihar children have to leave the class because they have the some dancing class or they have the some other, like tennis class or whatever. But this is the important thing that no, even parents doesn't feel that. So how much efforts we put in, they don't even inform and they don't come for the Balvihar class. It's
Correct.
like that. In the school, they cannot do that. No, school, they have to inform if they have to take a leave.
Correct.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Hmm.
In the 22nd chapter, it is the 10th verse.
Hmm.
It says that the moon, like I have in Hindi, like Sanskrit to Hindi, and that it says that about Chandrama, it is called that ये जो 16 कलाओं से युक्त मनोमय अन्नमय अमृतमय पुरुष स्वरूप भगवान चंद्रमा है. So when we Purush, so it is the Brahman, right? So here what we have to understand.
1 minute, I'm coming to that. I had also read that 16 Kala Purusha in my, when I just spoke in the class, I spoke about that only.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute. Huh? Mhm. So here that translation, the 10th mantra, that's what he says. In this, it is this glorious being appearing in the form of the moon. So who is this glorious being? Narayana, no? Because Bhagwan only is appearing when we say Surya Narayana. That
Right.
same Narayana is appearing here. So he says here that it is this glorious being, Ya Esha Shodasha Kalaha Purushaha Bhagavan. Bhagavan
Okay.
appearing in the form of the moon. With
Okay.
its orb consisting of 16 parts or digits. So one is Surya Narayana and same way Chandra Narayana. Both are Narayana. So as Narayana he is Purnam, he is Purna Purushottam. And then specifically here he says that Shodasha Kala, Shodasha Kala Purusha. So Shodasha Kala as per the Upanishads is Brahman.
Okay.
Here in the context of the moon specifically, it also then says with its orb consisting of 16 parts or digits, the orb of the moon, Chandra Mandala. So that is specific to moon. Otherwise, Purusha is Purnam. That is Shodasha Kala Purusha. The
Right.
deity. So that's what we have to understand.
Okay. Thank you, Swami.
Okay, let's do the Arati and then we conclude.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी मंगल आरती पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की मंगल अति कटी पियरे पट की मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की मंगल आरती मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की मंगल आरती मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की मंगल आरती मंगल आरती। राधा गदावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।